All right, we're rolling. So whenever you guys are.
All right. Am I okay? I didn't test. Check. Test. All right,
Let's
here we
see.
go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's something abuzz in Chapel Hill. They're kind of flying under the radar, but Thunder Sports is going to follow the University of North Carolina this entire football season, and we're going to expose that buzz for the nation to see the excitement that people are feeling about football. We are sitting here with the pilot of this machine, Coach Butch Davis. Coach, thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. It's great to be here. Looking forward to the opportunity to talk about North Carolina football.
Absolutely. And so, Mike, now, just right off the bat, what should I look for? I'm going to be following you all year. You're my personal spotlight team. The fact that I'm an alum to the side, yeah, right. But anyway, you're my spotlight team. What should I be looking for? What is a common theme I'm going to see this year?
Yeah, well, Chris, basically what you're going to see is you're going to see a young football team, very inexperienced football team, but a team that's passionate, that truly, really wants to kind of create its own identity, a team that wants to dramatically build a winning tradition. I've been so impressed with these young football players. They've done everything that a coaching staff could ever ask them to do. It started back in the winter time with winter conditionings. The spring practices were very, very positive. Over the summertime, great training and conditioning, and we've had just an unbelievable training camp where guys have really come in. They've really started to try to buy into the culture, the environment that we're trying to create. We're trying to create that championship winning attitude in this entire football program.
Mm-hmm. Now, every guy is a techie. We all have our gadgets that we like. Now, I read that you have really upgraded the facilities from a technical standpoint. Could you tell us some of what you've added on?
Yeah, Chris, I mean, I think that certainly the players have really enjoyed watching some of the transition in the building. We've dramatically updated the weight room facility, a total renovation there, new updated technology. One of the things, there's flat screen televisions throughout the course of the entire building. There's 27 of them that have a combination of not only television capability and satellite, but they also have instant messaging systems. Kids can come into the building, they know exactly what the practice schedule is, when the buses leave, when study hall is, when Bible study. I mean, so that's a real thing. And also we have a dartfish in the weight room. That's one of the things. We've done a lot of work in the training room, a lot of work in the players' lounge, and so the whole building is kind of taking a little bit of a facelift.
All right. So Coach, speaking of facelift, your family, you moved your family here and everything, and you were telling me earlier you got the hotline, sort of like the presidential hotline that your wife always gets through. What's it like in general as a big-time football coach? How do you juggle that and, your number one ministry of being that husband and that father? How does that work for you?
Chris, and I tell you, that's something that I think that all football coaches struggle with, and I think as a head coach I've become even more cognizant of it, not only for myself, but certainly for our assistant coaches and all the football support people, making sure that there is proper balance, that you have opportunities to be a father and to be a husband as well as being a football coach. We take Sunday mornings off that allows everybody the opportunity to go to church and worship on Sunday mornings. We take Friday mornings off where the coaches have an opportunity to stay home if they have children that are under school age, to spend some time with them, maybe an opportunity to take their son or daughter to school. We try to get out of here by 6 o'clock on Thursday night. Thursday night's kind of date night. That gives you a chance to kind of reconnect with your wife. The unfortunate thing about college football and professional football is it's so time intensive, and fortunately you have to be married to a great woman and someone that understands that 3 to 4 month period of that season, it's very, very tough, and you do have to budget time and make sure that you do stay connected and that you have opportunities to continue to keep some balance in your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the date night, I read about that as well. That sounded fun. You all as coaches are incredible role models, I believe, to the student athletes. In fact, I heard an account, one student athlete was talking about how you guys are jumping around and singing sometimes at the beginning of practice or what have you, and he also said that he was impressed with how open you guys are about just your faith and just in a positive way, in a positive manner, portraying that. What are some of your thoughts behind that? Is that intentional? Is it something that just happened naturally with the group of coaches you've gathered, or?
Well, Chris, I think it's, some of it clearly is intentional. I mean, as you put a staff together, you're always looking for men with great character, guys that truly are not only just men of faith, but they're good people, people that you would trust your son to be around, because basically we're asking parents around the country to trust us to take, their son, let them come to this program. And so what's that impact going to be over their 4 or 5 years that they're in this program? And so, that's part of it. And I think the open door policy, we're trying to create an atmosphere here where the players just absolutely love coming to this building, where they love coming to meetings, they love just to come out, to hang out, because you never know when, as a coach, you have an opportunity to make a difference in a kid's life with maybe, some life-changing decisions, whether to stay in school, get married, drop out of school. There's all different kinds of transitions when you're talking about, 17 to 21-year-old student athletes, and obviously you want guys that you really believe are going to have great impacts in these kids' lives.
Mm-hmm. Now, so 17 to 21-year-old, and then they mature, and the best of them, the best stories go on to play professionally, and they come back and they keep a relationship. Could you share a story like that? Maybe a young man who started off and he was a little troubled, and he went on to mature and have a great career.
Yeah, one of the best stories, Chris, that I can relate, and I share this with a lot of players, was as a position coach at the University of Miami in the mid-'80s. A young man that was a late recruit, basically almost had no scholarship offers, no major programs, very few Division I programs were even interested in him, and we had lost a big-time recruit right the day before National Signing Day. And a couple of months later, we had an extra scholarship, and we said, well, let's find somebody, and we gave it to a kid, and we tried to give it to somebody that had good character and good academics, and we brought this young man in, and when he first arrived on campus, he was horribly out of condition. He was 335, 340 pounds, and really struggled in the heat at the University of Miami. The heat, the humidity, I mean, it was a real challenge and struggle for him to just make it through practice. And but his passion, he wanted to play. He came in, he talked to me, and he said, what do I have to do to play? Well, obviously you need to lose some weight. And so for the period of about a year, every morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock, he was outside running, had on a plastic wrestling suit to try to help him lose weight. And little by little, all the shortcomings that you saw in him as a player, because basically at the first year, we actually thought it was a wasted scholarship. This kid's probably never really going to ever amount to anything. He's not going to play. Contemplated even actually moving him from defense to offense. But little by little, his passion and his faith and his determination, you could see his body change. And then when his body changed, you could see that his athleticism started to show up. And the next thing you know, he went from the 4th team to the 3rd team to the 2nd team. And to make a long story short, in his senior year, they won the national championship a couple of times while he was at the school. He became the first player chosen in the National Football League, and his name was Russell Maryland, and he was the Outland Trophy winner. And I share this with players because, every player that comes into a program, immediate stardom doesn't happen for everybody, and it is a process, and your passion, your faith, your commitment, and a lot of those things play an enormous role, in your success. Went on to win 3 Super Bowls with the Dallas Cowboys, went to a couple of Pro Bowls. Today he's married, just an awesome young man, and somebody that certainly could be a role model for any athlete.
Yeah, and so we're talking about role models, and we're talking about the role that your faith plays in things. Can you tell us a little bit about how that's worked in your career? How has your faith come into play?
Chris, I think at least myself, and I can't speak for anyone else, I think there was a period of time, that maybe I was as guilty as a lot of people, that you kind of used your faith in a sense that, oh Lord, please help me win this game, or help us get through this trying time. And I'd been fortunate. I'd kind of grown up in a home where my grandfather was a Nazarene minister, so I'd gone to MYF and gone to Methodist Church, but in the early '90s when I went to the Dallas Cowboys, I really started to develop, a deeper appreciation and a relationship with God, and trying to, really try to start to put my faith in perspective, and how it was going to impact my marriage, how it was going to impact a son that I just recently had, and how I was going to actually interact with the student athletes. And I think it's been hopefully a growing faith, and I think it's been something that has clearly, without question, it's made me a better football coach. That how I see certain incidents in the lives of the athletes that I coach, it has dramatically changed. And I just I think that it's something that helps you through the challenges and the trials and tribulations that certainly go along with coaching, whether it's personal, having gone through the cancer situation with me this past spring, or whether it's going through situations in Dallas prior to winning the Super Bowls. We also went 1-15, so there were some bad times, and then going to the University of Miami, I can tell you that without question that transforming that program from kind of a program where it had a bad reputation, it had a horrible perception around the country, and changing that program to national championship status. Clearly, God worked in that program. He worked through the coaches, it worked through the players, and it's something that certainly is going to play a huge amount of success in the program here at the University of North Carolina.
Yeah, I believe that, Coach. The Bible says, humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and He will lift you up. And what I've noticed in your bringing your program to North Carolina is that I believe there's a humility. I really sense in you a humility. And people would like to call Carolina, although Carolina is really in a golden age of sports all around. This is a great sports school. People like to call it, of course, a basketball school or what have you. But I've seen you just humbly coming along. What do you think? I mean, do you think that whole thing is going to take care of itself as far as the perception of it being kind of a one-tiered school?
Sure. Oh, absolutely, Chris. I think there is no reason that the University of North Carolina cannot have a national contender and a national prominence in football that can coexist with all the other sports. I mean, University of North Carolina, one of the things that was impressive to me, and one of the reasons that I chose to come to Carolina, was their commitment to be good in everything. I mean, women's soccer, men's baseball, both the men and women's basketball programs, all the spring sports. I mean, they are really good, and that same passion truly really exists in football. We've now got to capitalize on that fever around the state and the excitement and the momentum, and continue to have a team that's going to grow and get better over the next couple of years, add new recruits, and I just think that that the sky's the limit for this football program.
All right. Well, what is the one thing, as we close, what's the one thing that what one message would you want to get to fans of the program, just about direction, about the kind of help they can give you, that type of thing?
Sure. Well, obviously, if there was a message, the message would be patience, because, when you build a program, there's going to be, it's going to take a process. There's going to be little bitty tiny steps. There's going to be periods of time that people are going to say, we're not making any steps. When we're behind the scenes and laying the proper foundation of the culture, the environment, the type of kids, the character and the integrity and the athleticism of kids that we're going to recruit, not only currently but certainly in the future. And I think that fans, what they'll really see is they're going to see a football program they'll be extraordinarily proud of. That on the field, off the field, in the community, we have a high expectation of our players to come to this university and graduate and capitalize on an unbelievable opportunity to get a degree from a great institution and grow and mature as young men and have a great football career.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and we're looking forward to spotlighting you monthly for the rest of the season, you and the team. And hey, Thunder Sports is here to bring you the stories behind these great sports. Carolina is one of them.